can see, it's this small zone in Burnett and Burnett and Lampasas County that we're most concerned about. This is the area that may have some rotation in it, and because of that, we are watching not only for lightning, not only for the heavy rain, but for the tornado threat. Natalie has more on the radar right now. I'm going to switch it over to her and let her talk about what we're watching.
And as you can see, things are very active for us, but the main concern is that tornado warning. So if you do live in southeastern Lampasas and then this pushes over into Burnett as well, make sure that you are taking cover, the most interior room of your house. We're also seeing some hail, lots of lightning, heavy downpours, but again, the main concern is the potential for tornadoes, and we do have that tornado warned storm, and that's going to last until about 4:45, maybe 5 o'clock if they do extend it, as this is starting to push over to the south and to the east. So here's a look at that radar. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. Again, that's a tornado warning. It does include just that sliver of Lampasas and then into Burnett until about 4:45. So just make sure that you are taking cover. Again, the most interior room of your house. Scott gave that great advice of maybe grabbing a helmet, putting it on your kids, or maybe if you don't have that, even pots and pans. Stay away from those windows. Stay safe and stay smart. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this for you. Again, zooming out, we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but the main concern is that tornado warned area, and you can see that in this red polygon that does include southeastern Lampasas and then pushing into northern Burnett. So just make sure that you are staying weather aware. So here's a look at that velocity. Taking a look, you can see a tiny couplet, potentially not anything that looks super strong, but the main concern has been hail and gusty winds. But you can always see those spin up tornadoes, and that's exactly what we could be seeing right now. So as we go ahead and take a look, again, we've got that velocity. There is that rotation that we're keeping a very close eye on with that tornado warned storm. Again, this is in Lampasas and starting to push over to the south and to the east, impacting Burnett as well. So if you do live in those areas, just make sure that you are taking cover, most interior room of your house. And going ahead and taking a look, I'm going to take you back again to the radar. You can see it's about 4:20 right now, so we're going to be keeping an eye on this for the next 30 minutes or so. We do have some of those severe thunderstorm warnings as well, but we're keeping just a very close eye on this area here in Lampasas, just very far south and to the east, and then starting to move into Burnett. Lots of lightning with this, lots of instability. We were anticipating the severe thunderstorm warnings, but again, spring, you need to be staying on your toes, staying inside, especially for Lampasas and over into Burnett with that tornado warning ongoing, and that's lasting again until about 4:45. Lots of lightning. Here's a look at that satellite and radar. So just make sure that you're staying away from those windows, all that good stuff, the most interior room of your house. And we do have a couple of severe warned storms in Llano into Burnett as well, but main concern is just this small sliver of Lampasas and then pushing in to northeastern Burnett, and that's where we do have that tornado warned storm. So it's something that we're continuing to keep a very close eye on. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see what the National Weather Service is saying, the NWS chat, and while I check the computer, I'm going to toss it back to Scott.
All right, Natalie, it's spring in Texas. We are hoping that we don't have any confirmed tornadoes, and we do not at the moment, but we have radar indication of some violent spin in the atmosphere. And you get that, and that's usually a precursor to what may, and I'm stressing may, indicate a tornado from the storm that's in both Lampasas and Burnett counties, and that's the area of most concern. Let's go full screen on the graphic. I will show you the latest warnings. In the red is our tornado warning. It goes through 4:45 p.m. The other warnings are out there. There's a flood warning in Lampasas. It's been 2-3 inch rains there in about a half hour's time. thunderstorm warning for Llano and western Burnett County, and a severe thunderstorm warning in Milam County. The expiration on these, this one up this way is 5:15, and the one in Llano is 5 o'clock. So there are your expiration times on each of those storms, and I will save that because I want you to be able to see it. This is also online available for you. Fox 7 WAP, if you don't have it, you can check out the same thing I'm checking out, which is a nasty looking radar. And as we zoom it in, this one storm, it's on the, let me pause it. It's right here, the white indicating some hail. This is Lampasas. Storm is well east of you in Lampasas proper. If you're in Lampasas, just monitor this. You don't need to take any cover. It's this far, far eastern sliver of Lampasas County. It's this area here in northeastern Burnett County that we're most concerned about. And over toward Bell County, we are also seeing this warning. This is the conventional radar view, and I will show you the velocity mode. Velocity is just wind. We're looking for the comparison or the contrast. Green showing wind going toward our radar site, red showing wind away from the radar site, and this, to me, is not a strong indication of tornadic development. Nevertheless, the folks at the Weather Service are the ones that make these calls, and they have a lot more resources to use and a lot more things to check. And they are saying that the source is indicating some rotation. There's a severe thunderstorm watch for most of us that goes until 9 o'clock tonight, and you can see the extent of that watch north of Austin, but including Austin proper, as well as points west and east till 9 o'clock. My thinking tonight is this. We're near 70 with severe storms, and tomorrow may again bring more severe thunderstorms. Let's check out that radar. This is getting to the point of some pretty darn large hail. I want to see how large this hail is with our scope, and I'm going to pause this and show you the hail estimated quarter size. That's the threshold for a severe thunderstorm, and most certainly the threshold for what looks like a tornadic signature, a tornado. If you're in a mobile home and you have the ability to get out, do it. Get to a sturdy shelter. This is a very small storm, relatively speaking, and within the storm, it's a small area that we are warned with tornadoes. If you're in Austin, you're wondering why we're on the air. What are we talking about? Because there's no storm near us. But as you can see, the Weather Service has this warning for tornadic activity. It looks like it includes a little more of Burnett County now. The storm appears to be drifting more south than east as it was earlier. And this is a storm that's been there for about 30, 35 minutes. So here it is on radar. And I want to be very clear that the storm in Burnett is not the storm that we're looking at a tornado. That's the storm that has a severe thunderstorm perhaps, but it is not a tornadic storm at this point. It's this one moving south and maybe a little west near Copperas Cove, near Kempner in Lampasas County, and moving in that direction that potentially would have a tornado with it. I'm going to give you the latest bulletin. The hail is indicated on here as 1.75 inches, 1.75 inches. And I believe the warning is now going to include parts of Williamson County here shortly, if it doesn't already. Yep, there you go. So parts of Williamson, parts of Burnett, and a small sliver of Lampasas, all under a tornado warning at this hour. Bottom line, get to the interior portion of your home, get away from the windows, be on the lowest level, and put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. Don't try to go look at this thing. It's very heavily wrapped in rain if it's developing, which the radar is indicating. We don't have a source that it is on the ground, but there is a weather spotter that is seeing a tornado and reporting that to the National Weather Service. So a weather spotter is telling the Weather Service they have it, which is probably why they have expanded this. They're extremely difficult to see to begin with, and this is not one moving across the plains of Nebraska. This is a storm that is wrapped in a lot of rain. One more look at the warnings on a wider scale, and I will show you the watch as well. And then Adelie is monitoring the radar, and she's going to show us what we're seeing. This now goes, I'm going to clear this for a moment. Well, maybe I'm not. And then I'm going to put on what I call the time estimate. Now, it's still 5 o'clock. It's still 5 o'clock. Okay, so they've expanded it by 15 minutes. So the tornado warning until the top of the hour, that's 29 minutes away. Adelie's here with more on our storm and the radar.
Yeah, just make sure that you're being very weather aware, and I've been keeping a close eye on satellite and radar. We both have, and one of the things that I did is I took the lightning off, and even just in these last 5 minutes or so, it's not as defined, but there was a little bit of a hook, not much on velocity. I'll have to agree with you on that, definitely, Scott, but I could see there's definitely some indications of that rotation, and it has been spotted by a weather spotter, not confirmed 100% just yet, but we are seeing that action on the radar. So just make sure that you are taking this seriously and that you are staying inside. So this does include portions of Lampasas into Burnett and even into Williamson. This is going to be lasting until about 5 o'clock. So just make sure that you are staying in the most interior room on the lowest floor. There's also some hail, and as you can see, lots of lightning. And as Scott said, don't get outside and try to take a picture of this. It's rain wrapped, and by the windows is one of the last places that you want to be in case there is any of that flying debris. Here's another look. You can see all of that lightning. We've got that tornado warned storm. This is going to be in effect until 5 o'clock as it's continuing to push over to the south and to the east. So going ahead and taking a look at the bigger picture, here's our main concern right here. It's actually a couple of them on top of each other. You can see a couple of those warnings, but it's something that we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on. We've also got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, also bringing some hail and some gusty winds. That tornado threat today was low. Honestly, it was hardly anything, but that's why you really have to stay on your toes, because spring is here, it is severe season, and Mother Nature can definitely throw you for a loop. So it's something that we're keeping a very close eye on. Again, this is including just that little slither of Lampasas, and that's really the area that we're keeping our close eye on as it continues to push over to the south, to the east. It does include portions of Burnett. This is northeastern Burnett and even into Williamson, just barely. So if you do live in those areas, make sure that you are in your safe space, the lowest floor, most interior room. We're going to continue to keep you updated and keep a close eye on this until it is expired. We want you to be safe. We want you to be at home. Do not go outside. This is not the time to be running any of those errands. We've got lots of lightning, as well as that hail, gusty winds, and that tornado warned area. And again, that's until about 5 o'clock. So for these next 30 minutes or so, if you do live in that portion of Lampasas, just that tiny little sliver, and then also northern Burnett and into Williamson, just make sure that you are staying inside. So here's another look at velocity. You can see those inbound winds in green and then away from the radar in red. And then typically what we look for is a couplet where they're very close together, and that's an indication of rotation. Not really seeing anything very strong on that just yet, just kind of a broader area. But again, it's something that we'll be keeping a very close eye on. As we go ahead and take a look again, that's satellite and radar, we do have that severe warned storm, and it is going to be lasting until about 5. So make sure that you are staying in your most interior room, lowest floor. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at this. Oops, sorry, I pressed the wrong button here. But going ahead and taking a look again at velocity, it's a little bit more clear that you can see that there are 2 tornado warned storms, but this is really that main area that we are keeping a close eye on. So this includes a little bit of Lampasas. This also pushes into Burnett, and now that tiny little sliver of northern Williamson as well. So just make sure that you are staying inside, keeping a very close eye on that velocity and on radar as well. So let's go ahead and take you back to that radar. Here's a wider look. Again, we do have that tornado warned area. We also have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and we do have a severe thunderstorm watch, meaning that conditions are favorable for more severe storms until about 9. So going ahead and taking another look, lots of lightning, but that main concern is that tornado warned area, and that's until about 5 o'clock. So just again, make sure you're staying inside. Barely including Lampasas. You can see just that tiny little sliver into northern Burnett and then Williamson as well. And here's a look, there's 2 of them. So one of them is lasting until 4:45, the other one until 5, and until both of these are gone, we're going to be on here. We're going to be keeping you safe, and the best way that you can do that is just by staying inside. So here's kind of another look at this cell. This is the area that I've been keeping kind of a close eye on, just to the south of Kemper. You can see there's just a little bit of a hook. You can see it a little more than the last time that I just showed you, and that's where that main indication of rotation is. I believe Scott did say that a weather spotter did see this on the ground. Not sure if it's been confirmed just yet, but he's been keeping a very close eye on the latest. Got that computer nearby. So Scott, do you have any updates for us?
Well, the weather spotter says near Kempner there was a tornado. We don't know if it was in a rural spot, if it touched down in a home or a barn or anything like that, but it's a weather spotter that's saying that they reported to the Weather Service that they have seen a tornado in Kempner. That's in far north, I should say southeastern Lampasas County, just over the Burnett County line. Let me give you the full screen on the local warnings. There are several for severe thunderstorms, parts of Llano, parts of western Burnett County, Lampasas County, Milam County. They all have severe thunderstorm warnings and may see hail quarter size. The reason that we are with you live here from the Fox 7 Weather Lab is because of what's in the smack dab middle of the screen here, and that's a tornado warning for Burnett and Williamson counties. Radar has been popping this afternoon. As you can see, we've got isolated severe supercell thunderstorms. And the one we are most concerned about is this one right here. It has moved through parts of Lampasas County. It's stalled on the Lampasas County line. It's near Copperas Cove, and that's where we have indication of rotation. That is where we are tracking what the computer is seeing as rotation. And here we're in a mode that will give you the latest indication of where we think that's heading. And at the moment, it's near stationary, but it's got a drift to the east-northeast. So this is a storm that has hail at about 2 inches in diameter, and apparently now easterly motion at just 4 miles per hour. That is dumping a lot of rain, and it's been dumping a lot of rain for the better part now of 40 plus minutes. I'll zoom out, clear the scope, and see if you can track it with me as we check out the motion on the radar. That's from, oh, here's the warning map. Severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings are active at least until 5 o'clock. Please, if you're in this little spot of Burnett County, it's rural. There's not a lot of homes there, but there are definitely houses, definitely barns, definitely outbuildings. We want you indoors, lowest level, away from as many windows as you can, and put the walls up between you. Put the mattress in there. Put the sheet on you. Put the blanket on you. Get the helmet on your head on the kids' heads. Sounds silly. You might have to be in the bathroom or the closet for 30, 40, 50 minutes as long as this storm is in place. And it is not a storm that is moving very quickly. You saw at 5 miles per hour. Let's go back to the conventional Doppler max storm radar, and I will just show you. Look how the loop goes here. And the loop here begins at roughly 2:45, and it's raining but not severely in this area. We're now at near 4:45. So for 2 hours, they have seen rain across parts of Lampasas and Bell counties, and northern Burnett is in the mix. So we've got flood warnings, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, we've got tornado warnings, and they are all occurring simultaneously with multiple storms on this. There's now the watch that includes Austin and a secondary watch with our dry line, cold front to the north. This thing could get worse tomorrow. This could be a situation where we're going to be looking at watches and warnings going up throughout parts of your Friday. The watch means watch out, means they're favorable. We all have a severe thunderstorm watch, or most of us. Have your plan, know where to go, know what you need to wrap yourself up in. When you get this warning, we're telling you it's occurring. There's indication that not only is hail coming out of that thunderstorm, indications are we've got rotation. Take action now, and you want to save your lives and your property. Obviously, your life is first. If you're looking for some radar information and maybe the power goes out in the home, the WAP, Fox 7 Weather app, it is free on Google Play. It is free on the App Store. It's got the watches. It's got the warnings as they come out. Just as quickly as we get them, fractions of a second from the Weather Service, you can get them on the WAP. You can also check radar and future radar there. What you'll see when you get it is a map that looks like this with a whole bunch of polygons and warnings. You can watch, this warning has been pared back a little bit. It apparently no longer includes Williamson County, but if I'm in northeastern Williamson County, I'm certainly on the lookout for some of these stronger storms. It includes parts of Lampasas County and Burnett County. And this is the radar indication of what may be a tornado, what may be a secondary storm. Kempner is here. Copperas Cove is here. Copperas Cove just out of the area off 190, and Kempner in Lampasas County. The yellow is where we think the largest hail is. You'll also notice that we were talking about the possibility of a hook echo. Perhaps we see some rotation in the conventional radar. Perhaps we see a little rotation in the velocity, meaning the greens and the reds. Wind moving toward the radar, wind moving away from the radar. And you don't want them bumping up against each other because if you can imagine wind in one direction, wind in the exact opposite direction, that's how you get your violent spin in the atmosphere, which is why we are chatting now. Adelie's with us. She is tracking the storm as well, and she's got more from the radar on what is a tornado-warned thunderstorm.
Yes, as we go ahead and take a look, it is southern Lampasas, just to the south of Kempner, where we were seeing a little bit more of that hook, but now it's pushing a little further to the south, so now it's more so northern Burnett, but still southern Lampasas and into Burnett. Just make sure that you are staying weather aware. As Scott had mentioned, it is a bit pared back and it's no longer including Williamson, but all of us need to be staying weather aware this evening. We've got that watch for more severe storms through about 9 o'clock tonight, and things are already active and will very likely continue to be so. So again, just make sure that you are staying on the lowest floor. This is the little area right here where I'm keeping the closest eye on in northern portions of Burnett. But again, just stay inside, stay safe. And the tornado threat today was actually really low, but in spring, the weather likes to keep us on our toes. We're also seeing hail, we're seeing gusty winds, we're seeing those severe thunderstorm warnings. But the reason that we're staying on air is because we do have that tornado warned storm. So going ahead and taking a look, you can see some of that lightning now. It's been pared back just a little bit, and this is lasting until 4:45. So they're probably going to extend extend this until about 5 o'clock or so as we go ahead and take a look. So if you do live in the Briggs area, this is pushing over to the east, but as Scott said, it's moving very, very slowly. So make sure that you're acting quickly, staying inside, most interior room, lowest floor of your house. Make sure that you're protecting yourself, maybe in the bathroom, maybe putting some pillows over your head, bring the pets in there as well. Just keep a very close eye on the radar. We're going to be doing that for you today. We've got team coverage. We'll have it tomorrow as well. It's that time of year where things get active, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now with that tornado warned storm. And as I said, there is that secondary one that's lasting until about 5. So it's something that we're going to continue to keep a close eye on for you, at least for these next 15 minutes or so. So here's a look at that wider view. We also have that severe thunderstorm warning just clipping Milam. We also have another one over in Llano and Burnett, but it's really this system right here, this cell, just that sliver of southeastern Lampasas pushing in it to northern Burnett, where we do have that tornado warned storm, and that's going to be lasting until about 5. So again, just make sure that you're staying in the most interior room of your house. Stay away from those doors, stay away from windows. Going ahead and taking another look at velocity. There hasn't been anything that's been standing out extremely when it does come to that rotation. It looks relatively broad, but I could see a little bit of a hook, so it's something that we need to be taking very seriously. We also did have a report of a spotter that saw it, still not confirmed at this moment, but whether it's just radar confirmed or somebody actually seeing it, you need to be treating it exactly the same. So going ahead and taking a closer look, this is kind of the area where we could be seeing it as it's starting to move a little bit more out of Lampasas, and we're also seeing that activity northern Burnett. All of us need to be staying weather aware, but again, this sliver of Lampasas, southern Lampasas, and into Burnett, you need to be staying inside because we do have that tornado warned area until about 5 o'clock. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on velocity, on radar as well, and going ahead and taking a look. Let's zoom in just a little bit, get rid of that lightning kind of going back for you. You can see all that lightning right now with that tornado warned storm until about 5 o'clock. And then when it does come to that shape, I mean, you can kind of see that inflow a little bit. It is moving a little further to the south. That report was in Kempner, where we did have a spotter that saw it. Again, that's not been confirmed just yet, but make sure you're treating it like it is. So we're seeing kind of this broad shape right here where we could have a tornado on the ground. So just make sure that you are staying safe, staying inside. And again, this is southern Lampasas right in here, and then it's moving into Burnett, and it's going to be lasting at least until 5. As Scott said, I mean, this is a very slow mover, and it's not just the potential for that tornado, it's also large hail, it's gusty winds, it's lots of lightning. So all of those reasons are why you should be staying inside. You should be staying weather aware. This is something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on as it's moving very slowly. Again, we're not seeing a whole lot on velocity or very strong hook at this point, but Scott's been keeping an eye on updates from the National Weather Service. We've got much more of a team than just the two of us. What's the latest that you're hearing, Scott?
Well, it definitely looks like from some photos that we have a storm that produced a tornado. It certainly looks like it hit the ground. It apparently is just south of the Briggs area in Burnett County. Let's go full screen, show you the warnings. There is a tornado warned storm for northeastern Burnett County. Now, Williamson County's not in this, but was in it just a little while ago. Here's a look at radar, and it's a violent looking radar. We have several supercell thunderstorms out there. The one in Burnett is not the one we're talking about. It's not the one near the lake. It's this one here that's coming out of the Copperas Cove area near Kempner. We have a storm that may have had a tornado in and around Briggs. Bertram, you're going to get some rain, but you're not in it. Florence, you're not in it, but you are seeing some rain out there. And I've got this velocity scope I'm going to put on, and this is the area that we're looking at right there in the middle of your screen. Well, I'm going to move it to the middle of your screen. That we're seeing wind moving toward the radar in green. We're seeing wind moving away from the radar in red. So something's going on in this spot right here somewhere. Could be right here now, could be right here now. This is the area of some violent rotation within the storm. And that is why we are urging you, if you happen to be in this section of the northeastern portion of Burnett County or southeastern section of Lampasas County, south of Kempner, we want you indoors and away from the windows. We want you on the lowest level of your home. There possibly is a tornado. This is the time to take action for a tornado-warned storm. This is not the drill. Fox 7 weather app, it's got all the info you can deal with when it comes to these things. You get the warnings as we do, or you can go with the National Weather Service radar. We talk about the lowest level of your home. We want walls between you and the storm. If you're in a mobile home, you got to get some sturdier shelter if it's possible. You can't outrun these things, but if it's heading in your direction, you can go in the opposite direction and get away, get into a sturdy spot, get into an area with some substantial walls between you and the outdoors rather than just the single frame of a mobile home. Blankets, cover yourself up. Put a helmet on. This is, it sounds silly. People will text me and people will talk about it and they're going to say it just sounds silly, but we're trying to keep you and your body safe and away from what may be a tornado on the ground earlier in rural Burnett County, as well as rural Lampasas County. This at the moment is not a threat to Austin. This is not a threat to Georgetown. This is not a threat to Round Rock at this moment. These storms are isolated. They are supercell, individual, small thunderstorms. You can see there's one in Mason County, not severe. There's Llano and Burnett. There's also Burnett and Northern Williamson and Lampasas, as well as Milam counties. I can point them all out here. This is one, this is one. It's obvious where the rain is. It's not so obvious where the storms potentially would be dropping not only the large hail, but dropping a tornado. Our warnings look like this. Orange, severe thunderstorm warnings. Red shade, that's our tornado warning. That is the time to take cover now thought that should be going on in your head in that zone, because this is a system that has brought a lot of rain and has brought a lot of hail and may indeed be producing a tornado. Tornado warning is only for that small area. Thunderstorm watch is for all the counties you see highlighted in yellow. And the watch and warning, watch means watch out. Conditions are favorable. Doesn't mean you need to take the action just yet. You get the warning, it's occurring, or it's imminent, or the radar is indicating it is very, very likely. Chasers are on this tornado, according to our National Weather Service folks, and they say the tornado is apparently weakening. Looks like it's the rope stage, which is a very thin line coming from the clouds and hitting the ground, a thin line of what may be some debris wrapped up in it. Rotation is weakening on the radar as well, but this is something you don't take lightly. We were not even in the threat for tornadoes today. We were not even in the marginal risk of a tornado today, but the threat is real. You get a severe thunderstorm at this time of the season, and you're going to get some modest rotation out of it. We've got 3 perhaps 4, perhaps 5 supercell thunderstorms on our local map, and they're all producing extremely heavy rain and extremely voluminous lightning. There's lightning tracker, and you can see, well, it's, for some reason, we may have lost the lightning data, but all right, it's filling in. Sometimes the data takes a couple seconds to fill in, but it's lightning bolt on top of lightning bolt on top of lightning bolt here in parts of Burnett and Lampasas County. Adelie's at the wall. She's got more on the storm and the radar.
Yeah, so here's another look. The reason that we've been staying on for over these last 30 minutes is that we do have that tornado warned area. So we're keeping a very close eye just to the south of Kepner. There's been even some imminent images of a tornado that did touch the ground, leaving that debris, and it's now starting to push out of Lampasas, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on this for about the next 4 minutes. The good news is I have been keeping an eye on, there was a little bit more of a clear hook even in just these last 15 minutes, but that's looking a little less likely, continuing to do so. So that is good news. Hopefully they do drop this tornado warning at 5, but we're going to stay on with you and just make sure that you are staying safe, you are staying up to date. And as Scott was saying, we didn't even have that tornado on the conditions that we could be seeing today. I mean, it was mostly just hail. It was gusty winds. We didn't even have a very low risk, but it just shows you that Mother Nature, especially in the spring, can be very volatile. So just make sure that you do have your weather app handy. We do have that watch in place for more severe weather until about 9. But here is that tornado watch, and it still does include portions, just that sliver of Lampasas. It was including a little bit of Williamson, but now they're dialing back a little bit on this as that rotation looks to be a little less and less. And most of that energy right now is over in Burnett. So just make sure that you are staying on the lowest floor, most interior room. Again, here's that look. You can see it's including just that sliver of Lampasas. Most of the energy, though, most of that lightning is starting to move into Burnett. So if you do live around that Briggs area, just make sure that you are staying inside, staying away from windows as this tornado warning continues, at least for these next couple of minutes. But as Scott had said, it does look like the rotation is weakening. So that's some good news, but it's not over with just yet. And it's not just Lampasas and into Burnett where we have a lot of instability. We did have some blue skies earlier that helped us get a little bit warmer. We have that humidity as well. We do have that potential to continue to see these strong to severe storms. So here's another one you can see just clipping Milam. We also have another one, Llano and Burnett, but the main concern is this tornado warned area where we do have that potential. There have been some images as well. It is starting to weaken, but until we do have this expired, we're going to be staying on the air with you. And even when that does expire, you're still being impacted by this severe thunderstorm warning. So even once it's over, stay inside, stay weather aware. We're going to continue to keep a very close eye on this. As you can see, there is a lot of lightning. There's been hail. There's been gusty winds. So here in about this next minute or so, we'll be able to update you on whether they'll be extending this tornado warning or not. But from what we're seeing on radar and velocity, it looks like it is starting to be a little bit more broad. So on velocity, normally you'll have those very bright greens and reds, and that's an indication of rotation. At this point, it does look a little bit broad, but this is the area that we'd be keeping a very close eye on. We're going to continue to keep you updated. I'm going to be tossing it over to Rebecca to start the 5 o'clock news.
Okay, Adelie, I'll take it real quick here. We are in a situation where the tornado warning has just expired. Our tornado warning has expired. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, parts of Lampasas, Williamson, and Burnett. We have a separate warning in Milam County. Rebecca is here to kick off our news.
On your side, this is Fox 7 Austin News at 5.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Rebecca Thomas. Mike Warren has the night off. Again, severe storms have been firing up in the northern parts of our viewing area. We've seen tornado warnings for parts of Burnett, Lampasas, Bell, and Williamson counties. As you heard Scott just say, they expired at 5 o'clock, but much of central Texas remains under a severe thunderstorm watch. So let's get right back to Chief Meteorologist Scott Fisher in the Weather Center for the latest.
Hey, Rebecca.
And Williamson counties, as you heard Scott just say, they expired at 5 o'clock, but much of central Texas remains under a severe thunderstorm watch. So let's get right back to Chief Meteorologist Scott Fisher in the Weather Center for the latest.
Hey, Rebecca. Yeah, we were expecting supercell thunderstorms today, courtesy of the boundary. Storm that sort of broke into, I'm going to take this out. We got a mixed minus issue. We had one storm that at one point had a tornado warning on it. It no longer does, but we still have hail producing thunderstorms in Burnett County, Williamson County, and parts of Milam and Lampasas counties for at least the next 30 to 40 minutes. Here's a look at max storm radar, and it's several areas that are getting all the rain and getting all the lightning, the hail, and we have at least reports of 2 tornadoes that may have touched down, one in Lampasas County near Kempner, one south of Briggs. And it certainly appears as if we're going to continue with the hail threat for many hours to come as we go through the evening hours. Until 9 o'clock, severe thunderstorm watch, and that does include the Austin area, and it does include Williamson, Travis, Bastrop, Blanco counties. Hayes, you're not in it, but I would be on the lookout for a couple of these storms later. We will have much more on the radar and these storms coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Fox 7 Austin has a crew on the way to Burnett County, where the National Weather Center has confirmed a tornado has touched down. Let's go ahead and get right to Fox 7 Austin's Lauren Rangel in the weather tracker tonight. Lauren.
Hey, Rebecca, we just left downtown Austin trying to get on to I-35 right now. I'm going to give you a look at what we're seeing. Clearly a much different situation here. Blue skies, we're seeing hardly any clouds, but that is a very different story than from what is ahead of us about an hour away. Again, we are hearing from a weather spotter that they did see a tornado near Kempner in Lampasas County. We are also hearing reports from the National Weather Service confirming a tornado just south of Briggs in Burnett County. That's where we're heading right now. We also have heard about some hail out there. We don't know the extent of the damage. We don't know if it hit homes or if it hit any rural areas, but we're going to continue to follow up with you as we get closer during each show. And once we get there, let you know, report back what we do see. Also, just a good reminder that as spring moves forward, now is the time to make sure you're aware of tornado warnings, following our weather, our meteorologist, and if there is a tornado warning, to make sure that you're staying away from windows and you are in a safe area. I'll send it back to you guys in the station.
All right, Lauren, thank you. In other news tonight, the end of a wild police chase is caught on camera in central Austin. 5 people were hurt and multiple law enforcement agencies responded. Fox 7 Austin's Katie Pratt joins us live from the scene near 54th and Duval with more on what happened today. Katie.
Rebecca, a police